Okay, I'd like to call the meeting of the Social Services Committee to order. Start with council, can you call the roll?
Sure, Mr. Chairman. Fine.
Here?
Misso, Brewski, Cleary,
Here.
Smith, Lockhart. Here. McLaughlin.
Here.
Curley.
Here.
And Simpson.
Here.
6 present, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. The first order of business is approving the previous minutes.
Motion?
Motion, Mr. Cleary, second, Mr. McLaughlin, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passed unanimous. Down to current business. Number 2 is authorizing an agreement with the Altamont Program Incorporated regarding employment services for temporary assistance for needy families and safety net recipients. Commissioner McClave.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Yes, so we're looking to renew the contract with the Altamont program for their job training program. This is the 5th year of a 5-year contract. It will be up for rebid next year. So this provides employment assessment and readiness services. Take my glasses off. Employment assessment and readiness services for temporary assistants and certain SNAP recipients who are able-bodied adults without dependents. So they engage in skill development, skill assessment, make a plan of action for getting job ready, assess education, and look at some hard and soft skills that will help people hopefully re-enter the workforce. So this is mostly a federal funding, 94.7% and 5.3% county for $529,000, $529,700.
Thank you. Are there any questions from the committee? Is there a motion to approve? Mr. Cleary, is there a second? Mr. Simpson, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Pass unanimous. Number 3, authorizing agreements regarding moving and storage services for eligible temporary assistance recipients.
Yes, we're seeking approval to just enter into a vendor agreement with Don's Moving and Storage and Leideke Moving and Storage for assistance in helping folks who are either evicted or housing is shut down due to code or fire or some other kind of emergency, and helping people move into new home or store their belongings while they're in a temporary shelter. This is required. We're required to have these contracts for our temporary assistance clients, and it's a mix for both safety net and our temporary assistance caseload. So it's for up to $150,000.
Thank you. Are there any questions? Ms. McLaughlin?
You know what the average cost is for that individual family? I mean, it's $150,000, so I was just wondering how many people are you able to?
Yeah, I mean, we help anybody, so this is up to 150. If we were approaching 150, we'd have to come back and ask for an additional funding because we're required to serve anybody who's eligible that comes through the doors. But we haven't, in the last number of years, we haven't surpassed 150,000. Last year, we only spent 31,000 because nobody was moving. We expect that to be a little bit different next year. That will be closer to possibly the 150. And we served 38 cases last year. So.
Because I was thinking in light of the pending maybe evictions, that there may be a run on this request.
We expect we'll be closer to that amount probably next year.
Mr. Curley?
Commissioner, on the storage services side, is there a time limit?
I can find out, but I think we only pay up to 3 months, and that's sometimes it becomes difficult to find companies willing to do that storage because the client is then responsible for paying that fee after that 3 months, and they often do not. So it's kind of difficult sometimes. We try, of course, to find them a place before 3 months is up, but it doesn't always happen.
Thank you. Are there any other questions from the committee? Okay, is there a motion to approve? Mr. McLaughlin, second. Mr. Cleary, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passed unanimous. Okay, number 4, authorizing acceptance of grant funding and amending the 2021 Department of Social Services budget.
Yes, we're looking for approval to accept a pass-through funding of $79,245. That's coming from the federal government through the Office of Children and Family Services to directly support our work in adult protective services related to the COVID epidemic. So this will enable us to buy some equipment, laptops, with technology to photograph documents, so we can serve people mobily and at home, a camera to use in the field, participate in virtual meetings, that kind of thing, community outreach materials, protective equipment for our adult protective service staff who go into people's homes and transport people often, and providing some goods and services to our clients, such as food. Sometimes they need to be relocated, so we pay for their hotel services until we get them into a better facility, and any other kind of issues that might pop up for our adult services clients. This is 100% federal funding through
Thank you.
the Federal CARES Act.
And are there any questions? Is there a motion? Ms. Lockhart, is there a second? Ms. McLaughlin, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passed unanimous.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Okay, number 5, authorizing an agreement with the University at Albany School of Social Welfare for the provision of management training. Commissioner Manning?
Good evening, everyone. Yes, we'd like to go into a renewal agreement with SUNY Albany. They provide training to our management team, which includes directors. The directors, we've actually, over the past 18 months to 2 years, have had 3 new employees promoted into the director positions. In the supervisor Bs, we've had 4 caseworkers promoted. And our senior caseworkers, again, there's a lot of movement. We just promoted 7 senior caseworkers. So it's an opportunity to ensure that practices remain the same and there's consistency across the department in implementing the programs.
Thank you. And are there any questions from the committee? Ms. McLaughlin?
Are these individuals, I'm sorry, I'm directed to you a little better.
No problem.
Are these individuals, are they required to take this training, or is it mandatory, or they can opt out?
They could opt out, but again, we'd strongly encourage, especially as new leaders, that they need to have training so they know kind of what to do in a situation. So it's not that we've had to mandate it. People are very much willing and wanting to learn and expand their skill set. Mhm.
Thank you. Ms. Lockhart?
I assume that the promotion is from
With
caseworkers
it.
and so forth, huh?
Yes.
So you must have a number of openings now that you need to fill?
We do have the 8 that we just filled as senior caseworkers. We have those and a couple positions still for the early separation that did occur last year, that those are vacant. There's 3 of those that will be filled in January.
So that's a lot. That's a lot to lose when you stand for the work that guys do.
Right. And we're constantly, actually, we have broken the civil service list, and we have posted it out in the field, and we're getting responses from community members. So they would be appointed provisionally until they took the civil service exam. So we're not stopping that training.
Yeah,
We need to fill those positions.
absolutely. Thank you.
Are there any other questions? Motion? Lockhart, second. Mr. Simpson, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passed unanimous. Down to number 6, authorizing an interdepartmental agreement between the Department for Children, Youth, and Families and the Albany County Probation Department.
Thank you. Yes, we'd like to continue our agreement with the probation department. We support probation officers in various programs that serve our juvenile delinquents and juvenile justice children. They include JCAB, the PINS 18, the Parent Project, which is an educational program for parents, and the JRUS. So those are those youth that really need to be monitored very closely. So the department has supported the salaries and fringe benefits of probation officers.
Thank you. And are there any questions from the committee? Is there a motion to approve? Mr. Cleary, second, Mr. Simpson, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passed unanimous. Okay, number 7, authorizing agreement with the New York State Department of Health regarding reimbursement for administrative costs pertaining to the early intervention program.
Thank you. Yes, our early intervention program serves children birth to age 3 that have developmental disabilities. It could be a cognitive delay, it could be a mobility delay, a social emotional delay, and communication. So these services must be provided by the county, and so this is a way that we can get some reimbursement for our administrative costs.
Thank you. Are there any questions? Is there a motion? Mr. Burley, second. Ms. Lockhart, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passed unanimous. Okay. Number 8, authorizing agreement with Trinity Alliance of the Capital Region Incorporated regarding the provision of family and neighborhood resource center services.
Thank you. Yes, Trinity has been running the Neighborhood Resource Center since 2008 when the COPS funding, Community Options Preventive Service Program, went into effect with the Office of Children and Family Services. There's no other entity that, since they were the original proposers and awardee from the Office of Children and Family Services, they're the only ones that can apply for this COPS funding. They have been running this resource center since 2008, and it's really a community center that really assists with basic needs of individuals, such as a food pantry. They do financial literacy. They connect people to health care or mental health treatment. And they also provide crisis services and service navigation, helping families through a care manager navigate the service delivery needs.
Thank you. And are there any questions from the committee? Is there a motion to approve? Ms. McLaughlin, second. Mr. Simpson, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passed unanimous.
Thank you.
Commissioner. Okay, do we have a motion to adjourn? Motion, Ms. Lockhart, second, Ms. McLaughlin, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everyone.